Good morning. Today I'm going to talk about food. Given I'm only going to talk for 5 minutes, because the rest of the day I spend on my feet outdoors doing what I saying what I do. But I will come back to this subject again on different days. So first thing I want to explain to you is that number one, the most important thing, there are thousands of books on food. I've read hundreds, and what's really inspired me to read was because in 2012 I unfortunately fell ill with Crohn's disease. Well, that's what they called it. And I healed myself. Now, those are stories for another day. It took 2 years without any medications. I sought to understand my condition, and I became ill through stress, not because I was eating the wrong foods. I understand food very, very well. Since then, I have read hundreds and hundreds of books. I have studied at what claims to be one of the largest holistic nutrition schools in the world. I mean, I'm not sure that it is, but that's what they claimed at the time. The Institute of Integrative Nutrition. It was an online course, but I went to New York and visited the institution as well. And the reason I went there was because I'd healed myself first, and I sought to understand how I did it, because the journey was no less than a miracle. And I know now it was with the grace of God that happened, and that I made the right choices to heal my condition, completely ignoring every single thing I was told by the allopathic medicine gastroenterologist at the hospital in central London. So the first thing I want to explain to you with food is to first understand yourself. This is really important, that you know who you are, how old you are, what your health markers are, what time of life you're in, male or female, where you live. There's so many factors to take into consideration. So that's why no one rule fits for anyone. Number two, to eat pure. Whatever you put into your mouth, you need to really do your level best to know where it comes from. So I'm going to give you an example. With me, 99% of what I consume is made at home. I cook it at home. So, and I eat a lot of meat because meat works very well for me. I know it doesn't work for everybody. A lot of people have been indoctrinated against it in today's times, but I'm going to go into that in another time. I'm not suggesting that everybody should eat meat either. It works for me. So, and I grow all my own vegetables now, and I know that the nutrient density of the food that I consume, which is grown outside, or even the animals that are bred outside, is as good as what they eat. So with plants, it depends very much on the quality of the soil and the living organisms that are inside the soil that are creating that quality and the density of vitamins, minerals, and so on inside the soil. It's all about the soil. So eat as pure as you can. The next thing I want to point out to you, there are many, but I can't do it all in 5 minutes. So just write down the essential things. Is fasting, or you could call it time restricted eating if you don't want to call it fasting. The point is, we don't need to eat so much. I'm talking generally, not if you're an athlete that's running all day long. Well, actually, I would argue that's not true, because there are many indigenous humans that run all day long and eat very little and perform better. Fast. So if I give you my example, this is what works for me, is that I wake up very early, 4:30, sometimes even before, sometimes a little bit after that. I sleep early, and I don't eat anything, but I will have my cup of tea. I love my cup of tea with milk. That's what I want to do. It doesn't matter that it's milk or not milk. I have that and I enjoy it, but I generally don't eat any breakfast until 10 o'clock. Now, some people absolutely have to eat. And if you do, just give it a little bit of time for your body to adjust before you eat something. But I don't eat before 10 o'clock. This might be a slightly longer video. And then I have a time frame. So after 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I'm done. And I tend to eat, I try to eat more protein because food is my weakness. I love food. I try to eat more protein, so it'll be eggs, meat left over from the day before, fish. I drink a lot of milk, but it's always raw milk. And if I can't get raw milk for any reason, it'll be unhomogenized. I can talk about that another time. And then I stop at about 3 o'clock, and you allow your digestive system to rest. That is the important point, to allow it to rest, because when the digestive system rests and it's not working, something happens. Aside from the fact that it's now got time to heal you, which you're also having when you heal when you're sleeping properly at the right times. It's all based on the day-night cycle. But something happens in your mind, and when you're eating clean and you're eating pure food that you have cooked with your own hands, it has a direct impact on how you think. And remember, I'm trying to share with you a way of life that I lead that offers me the ability to think with clarity and trust the choices that I make in life. Of course, God plays a huge part in my life. Didn't before, but does now. And I truly believe that it is the change that I have made in my way of life, which includes food and how I eat and the fasting, that not only healed me all those years ago, but has brought me closer to my Maker. So when you fast, and I can go into this later another time, but when you fast and you consistently fast, whether it means that you don't eat after 3 o'clock or you only eat within a small time, a time frame, say of 6 hours or 8 hours in the day, the time that you're consistently fasting and not eating, you will feel that your mind and heart start to connect to a very pure source. I don't know why, but I kind of connect today's gluttonous type of food eating with Satan. As I said to you before, I relate everything to goodness from God and evil from Satan. And and it's that simple, for me, it's a very simple concept that how is this serving me? How is this as close to nature as possible? And what has my Maker said that would be best for me to do? It's such a simple way to live, and yet it's so powerful, because you'll then realize that every choice you make starts to become very sound. So this has gone on, it's a long video, but it's enough. And there's just 2 or 3 principles I've mentioned to you, and the idea of time restricted eating and eating pure and cooking everything from scratch at home. We can venture into more food talks another time. Have a lovely day.